Hello trail travelers, this is Carrie with Trail Traveler. We're going to do something pretty cool with Optimus here today. We're going to change out the hardtop. Stay right there. We'll be right back. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you probably know I have a Bestop Sunrider HT. This is a soft top replacement for the Freedom panels. So those go away and you have this retractable soft top on here, which is very, very nice, very convenient. Get that open air feeling without losing the whole hard top. But I really like the look of the Bestop Trektop because it's more of a hatchback look. I think it's going to look really cool on here. So today we're swapping out the hard top and the Sunrider for a Bestop Trektop, and we'll go through the install. We'll show you how what it takes to get it installed and how it operates. This is not the Ultra, this is the older Trektop, which is still very, very cool. So let's get into it. Well, we've got the hard top off. It's never quite looked this way before here. We don't have the doors off because that would be just way too cool today on this awesome day. But you can kind of see it's really, really dirty inside. We'll do a little cleaning up. But here's what we've got going over here. On this side is the original Sunrider HT that we had on there. And this is the Trektop. So from a mass point of view, it's not that much of a difference, and it's going to go on pretty easily. You got a couple connections here that go right above the kind of where the Freedom tops are, and then it'll attach in the back, put the windows on, and it's good to go. So let's just see how much work it actually takes to put this on. Well, okay, we've got the top on now, and now we need to slide the windows in. So you see this has kind of a circular shape here that's going to slide right into a groove up there. Okay, so once you have it in place, it's just going to slide all the way across. Grab it from that side, and we'll pull it in. You can see it's nice and secure in here. And if everything works right, we're not going to be doing any, well, we're going to see if we can still keep this Fishbone off-road shelf in here, which would be really nice. Wouldn't want to lose that, but if we have to, kind of the price you have to pay for the fastback design sometimes. So once you slide in that same type of piece over there, we're going to take this and hook it over this bar right there, and then pull it down into place, bring it down onto here, grab that strap from the inside there and snap it into place. And now we have the zipper here to connect these two pieces. Yeah, with all this stuff loose here, that's when it makes sense to do these zippers and just get it started. You don't have to pull it all the way down. Then we'll go and do the other side over there, lock everything in place, and we should be in pretty good shape.
convertible. So I'm gonna start at the bottom. There. Nice and tight. So it's double-edged sword, right?
Yep.
You want it tight, it's got to be tight. Make sure you get this one.
So on the back corner here, this is where people are going to make the most mistakes, not getting this tucked up under here. This is going to cause noise, it's going to cause rattling. So you're going to take these little kind of plates here and tuck them up underneath the mount in the back, and that's going to make everything nice and tight and secure. Keep everything nice and taut. So it'll keep everything nice and taut so you don't have any of that wind whistle. Oh, we got a zipper. Bring that zipper back down. I don't think I quite got that one. There we go. Get those in place. And again, we'll show you this side.
This is the window.
So do the window side first, and then the outside piece. And yep. Once it's all snugged into place, you have a very, very, very different look on the Jeep. I've only seen one other Jeep in this color with the fastback, and what a difference that makes to the look of the vehicle. It just it makes it look a little shorter, a little more aggressive, and it's going to be fun to be able to get this thing out in the sun. We still have the top that's very, very similar to what we had with the Sunrider HT, so we can open it super easily from inside. Then we can take the back panels off and have an open air feel. Like a lot of other projects and mods that you can do, one thing that's super, super important with installing either the Sunrider or the Trektop is follow the directions. That is going to get the most people in trouble, is when they don't follow directions, and you're going to end up with things that don't match right. You're going to end up with spots in here that aren't sealed properly. If you follow the directions, it's going to go really well for you. So there's a piece in here that needs to push over before you pull this down, and you can see it should look correct. If you're seeing a weird hump somewhere, it's not put on properly. So everything should flow really nice. On YouTube, I've seen people post that it didn't fit right, it doesn't match right, there's something wrong, and it's user error in getting it installed. So if you follow the instructions, take your time, you're going to get it right. This back piece here is another problem area. You got to make sure that things are tucked in properly before you pull down the top flap to make sure that that is secured. So there's a few little gotchas in here that you need to be aware of, but following the manual is going to be your quickest path to success. You can see this gasket piece over here needs to be tucked over, all the way over, before you pull this top piece down and get all this Velcro lined up really nice. Again, if it doesn't look right, it's probably not right. And just double check everything to make sure things are in the right spot, that they're tucked in nice, and you'll have a good installation. So I've mentioned before that a lot of the problems people complain about are basically user error, and this is one of them. This whole thing slides back and forth, and even though you can be a little off center and get it to grab, you want to make sure that it's in the right spot there so that it latches in properly. Okay, kind of the final tip here, I think, is going to be this back flap. If you don't have this secured down and you're in the wind, you're going to get quite a bit of flapping here. And there's some really good industrial Velcro on here. So make sure that your edges are tight. Just rub your hand over here. Make sure you get everything nice and taut. Press it down, and you're not going to have any flapping in the wind on the back. Two concerns I had in going with the Trektop were the Dominion off-road high lift jack. Because of the way it sat out here, there was no way that was going to fit. And this is the Fishbone off-road JL storage rack, and thought for sure I was going to have to lose that, that kind of would have been a bummer, because this is some nice storage for recovery gear. I keep my CO2 tank up here, things like that, to where I'm not taking up all of my cargo bed. Well, the high lift jack, we actually flipped it over. It's going to take a little doing to kind of figure out exactly how to get the jack back on there, but that's going to actually work, and it'll sit right behind the headrests. And in some cases, it's actually going to be easier to get the jack out of there, because I can take the side window off and just pull it right out the side versus trying to deal with it while it was up here on the roll bar. So hopefully that's actually going to be an improvement. And the Fishbone off-road shelf fits perfectly. If you don't have things nice and tight, you might actually get some touching on here, and maybe on the hottest of the hottest days, you might get a little bit of sagging, but shouldn't ever be a problem. Now, just in case, I am going to take some like insulation material, like high quality pool noodle type insulation, and just run it across here and on these corners, just in case. Not that I expect there's going to be a problem, but a little preventive maintenance is probably going to go a long way. But I get to keep my shelf, I get to keep my high lift, probably. Well, I still have to work on that project a little bit, but overall, this went way better than expected, because I really did not want to lose the shelf. So far so good. One thing you might not know about the Trektop is each side has these zippered pockets here. So on one side here, I've got a survival knife real handy. On the other side, I've got a handheld radio up here. I mean, we'll see if that's going to be the final thing for places, or a final place for things up here, but that is really handy to have some extra storage up here on the top. Now, one thing to keep in mind about these pockets is they're super accessible when the top is down, but once you open it, this will be a hard shot to get, they are going to be behind you, but they are going to be protected, and they're going to be in between the top and the roll bar. So the stuff that's in there isn't going anywhere, but it's just not going to be quite as accessible as it is with the top closed. Now, also accessible from the back seat is this other kind of a storage hammock. Now, this one doesn't seal up, there's no zipper or Velcro on it, but you could put quite a bit of soft goods up there. You know, I've got dog stuff up here, I've got a first aid kit, I've got some microfiber cloths over here. So it's a good amount of storage of extra things. I probably wouldn't put anything too heavy on there, just you don't want anything falling out if you gun it too hard, but your soft goods, they're going to be really good up there. So overall, this took less than an hour. We had some extra things we had to do with the Fishbone off-road rack that was in the back, the high lift mount that was there that we had to pull off. We actually were able to flip that around. So we had a few extra little projects we had to do to be able to start this and get it all up and running. But now that it's done, boy, does this look great. Now the big question is, how is this going to be in the snow and in the winter here in Colorado compared to the hardtop? Now with the Sunrider, I can tell you I've had that going into my second winter now, and there was really no difference. The worst thing that happens is in a really strong crosswind, you'll get a little flapping of the fabric, but in terms of protecting you from the cold, the hardtop is nothing but really thin fiberglass. There's no insulation on it. So it does a horrible job of insulating the vehicle. This is not going to be any worse, I can assure you. But we're going to get this thing out over the next couple of weekends, get it out in the snow, up in the mountains, and really feel if we can tell any difference. Okay, well, it's been a couple of weeks since we installed the Trektop from Bestop, and time to give some impressions. Good, bad, ugly, I guess. and see what Sonia here thinks about it all. It's my little trail dog. And I gotta say, I really, really, really like it. And I love the look. I think the look is fantastic with that fastback look. Okay, let's talk temperature. The hardtop is just thin fiberglass. There's no insulation whatsoever. Now you can add insulation and even sound dampening and things to improve, you know, your experience with it, but from the factory, it's just thin fiberglass. So once that fiberglass is at ambient temperature, you know, whether it's hot or cold, it stays that way for quite a while. During the summer, that hard top can get really hot and it just radiates that heat into the vehicle. During the winter, today it's 12 degrees outside. It's very cold, and the soft top does not feel cold. I mean, yeah, it's cool for sure, but it doesn't feel that freezing cold that the hard top did. And to me, it makes it feel like the heater is more effective and the air conditioning is more effective, because you're not trying to overpower the temperature from that hard top all the time. So I think it works really well. We see online, people were like, oh, it's winter, time to put the hard top back on. And I just don't see it. Now, maybe, and I'm gonna give this one a definite pass, I suppose. If I had to store my Jeep outside in a place that was prone to getting a lot of snow, you know, a foot of snow or more, and all that snow was accumulating on the soft top, I could be concerned about it sagging from the weight. Now here in Colorado, we usually get a couple inches at most on any given snowstorm, and then it goes away. So the weight's really not a concern. I park in a garage, so definitely not a concern for me. I don't have snow piling up on it unless it's parked at work. So not a problem for me in the snow. I see no reason to swap this out during the winter for the hard top. Very, very happy with this. I'm easily gonna run this all year round, okay? So that's temperature. Let's talk about noise. Well, again, the fiberglass hardtop has no noise reduction to it. It's just thin fiberglass, and it does very, very little to anything to cut down on the outside noise. So that's definitely not a concern. Now, I will say, over the weekend, we did a little trip down to Colorado Springs to go to Ram Off-Road Park, and in that condition, we were getting these 50-mile-an-hour gusts. And with that heavy, heavy wind, especially when it was going sideways, when it was coming head on, it really didn't make any difference. But when that wind was coming sideways, you could hear a little flapping up here, maybe a little shifting, little rattly type noise. Nothing of any concern whatsoever. And really, with the hard top in a 50-mile-an-hour crosswind, you hear it. So it's a little bit louder in that heavy crosswind. Nothing you can do about it. It is fabric. It is going to whip it around pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to give a kind of a wash on that one, because normal highway speeds, normal conditions, the sound is not an issue. It's only in those really harsh side crosswind type conditions, and it has to be a pretty significant wind for it to make any difference. So the wind, not an issue for me anyway. Now, storage capacity. Okay, that's a given. Now, I have the Fishbone off-road storage shelf in the back, and it comes up at an angle and then goes across, and I did that so that I could have room down underneath to put like a deep sleep mattress or something and have room for my feet. And it comes very, very close to that, and because it's at an angle, it cuts off some of the storage space from that shelf. Okay, well, the only thing I really put up there would be recovery gear, our lunches, things like that. I can't fit a cooler up there anyway, even with the hard top. So I didn't really lose anything there. The only thing it really did was make it a little more difficult to get to that. So instead of just being open the tailgate and get to the shelf and everything inside, that fastback style just makes it a little more difficult to get to things on the shelf. I actually have to pop the top and unzip it to really get to everything up there. And really, that's the major downside to this design, is you do lose a little bit of storage space, and it does make it a little more difficult to get into the back to get to things, because it comes down all the way to the tailgate. So you open the tailgate and you really just don't have a lot of easy access into the back like it is when it's wide open with the tailgate and the window flipped up. Okay, I mean, if that's a concern, definitely something you should be aware of and use as a decision factor. Again, for me, not a problem. I still have the whole cargo bay back there. I still have the smaller items that I put up on the shelf. So, hasn't been an issue for me at all. Overall, very, very happy with it. I get a ton of compliments about how the Jeep looks now. It makes the vehicle just look different. Some people say it makes it look smaller. Some people say it makes it look taller. Some people say it makes it look more aggressive. There's all kinds of comments I get about the look of the Jeep now, and regardless of their opinion, or what it is that they're saying about it, it's always a compliment. So I definitely love the look of the Trektop on here. Now, the Trektop Ultra has the advantage of being able to fold all the way back down and fairly quickly give you a complete open air feel. With this Trektop, this is not the Ultra, you can flip the top back just like a Sunrider, and you can pull the windows off, and then you still have kind of the back bikini top area. I'm really okay with that because I'm not a huge fan of having the sun beat on me all day. You still have the look of it being wide open because you can't really see the top when the windows are off. It's just sitting there on top with the roll bar. So it's a really cool look in that regard as well. So, final impressions, if you're looking for a soft top that has the fastback look, and you like the fact that it has the bikini top and that it's less expensive than the Ultra, because it is about $600 less than getting the Trektop Ultra, this is a great solution. I'm very happy with it. Sure, I would love to try out the Trektop Ultra for an extended period of time and really, feel the difference. But for me, for what I do, for my little adventures and everything, I absolutely love it. It is a fantastic addition to the Jeep in terms of its look, in terms of being able to just open it up during the summer and get that wide open feel. I don't feel that there's any negative in terms of temperature inside, and the road noise and things just really aren't an issue at all. So I just absolutely love it. I think Bestop did a great job on designing this. And yeah, again, Trektop Ultra has some advantages in being able to just fold all the way back, but you're going to pay a premium for that feature. So this is my review and installation of the Bestop Trektop. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it answered a bunch of questions for you and gave you some more insight into using it on a day-to-day basis and how it may work out for you, especially people who are concerned about cold weather and snow and not having to swap out the top during the winter. I don't think that's an issue, like I said, unless you get huge amounts of snow and it piles up on top. Other than that, not really an issue at all. So this has been Carrie and Sonia. Here we go, over here somewhere. Here she is, with Trail Traveler. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.